I'm using this mic here and I don't know what's going on. It's not pairing the microphone for some reason. My beloved system, let us hope it's not broken. I'd be very upset if this is broken. It seems turning on. I've got power. Ah, that's better. Alright, that looks better. Still very unusual. Come on, bring that stream back. Very unusual. I don't know why it did that. I hope it's not like the first ant to the picnic or something. Yeah, the other audio was the one coming out of the Sony webcam, not webcam, handycam. So it's obviously not as close. It's fine if you want to pick up a whole bunch of stuff happening in the room. Not so great if you just want to have one voice. What have I got? Computer shows no sound life, drawers no power, and connected to power adapter, and this is a 1990. Alright, yeah, so this will be a 820, probably an 820 1041 board. Ugh, just realised I don't even have my glasses. I'll have to go up and get them. I'll do that when I've got to sort out micro's insulin. It's a bug here. Catching a moth. I think that's your cat, isn't it? Our cats love moths too. Catch them and then chomp them down. Hey there, Serge. Well, Maroto, this particular wireless set has done well for the last several years now. So I'm not exactly sure why it had a moment. Funnily enough, it looked like OBS was the one that was having the trouble. Other than that, it's just Linux's fault, which wouldn't surprise me. Okay, that looks clear, so we could have our damage down here, or we could have it on the underside. Now again, with these 1990s and with the A2141s, when you get them in, do not power them up. Just go straight for the logic board removal so that you can inspect both sides of the SSD VRMs. Because 90% of the time, that's why they're here. Every now and then you'll get lucky and it's not a VRM related issue, but you may as well have it out anyway. But if you go powering these things on when they arrive in your workshop without first checking both sides of the board, you will lose a good number of jobs as no fixes, because of the fact that you basically use up that last chance that you might have had to do a data recovery or repair the board. A lot of the other boards it doesn't matter so much because they don't have the SSD VREG issue, but these ones do. Hey there, Arilla. Yeah, Murata, it is actually very hard to do video recording, streaming, etc. with corded microphones. These Samsung XPD or whatever they are, XDP ones, they're good value. They cost a little bit more than some of the cheap Chinese ones, but they cost a hell of a lot less than the ones like what Lewis Rossman uses, the DPA series. Hey Falcon. So it's a good compromise in terms of cost versus quality. I mean, the difference between the really cheap ones and this one is fairly pronounced, but the difference between this one and the DPA is less so. You're starting to getting into audiophile type sensitivity levels. People with proper hearing probably can tell a significant difference, but yeah, I'm not one of those people. But it was actually one of the big things that allowed me to watch Lewis Rossman's videos early on, was the fact that he had invested in good audio gear so that I could hear his voice clearly. If he hadn't have done that, then I probably likely would not have stuck around to watch him. Oh, by the way, that Dell G3, the battery arrived for it today, and I put the battery in and it all works fine. So it would appear indeed that when the cap short occurred, it subsequently forced the battery to yield too much, which killed the battery or put it into protection mode. And then when the short just burned itself out anyway, we removed that cap, even though the cap wasn't showing up as a short anymore because it had fried itself completely off. But yeah, so new battery, clear up that mainboard mess, and it was all good again. So I was very happy for that, because I really wasn't in a mood to go chasing new components just for one machine. Okay, I think we're about done. Almost ready to go. When my audio gear was jacked up, I was having a lot of problems there with it. It wasn't so much the audio gear, it was the computer and the USB ports giving me absolute hell. Whoa, what's this? Wow, I have no idea what that is. I'm kind of scared. As you can see, the sheer quantity of lint in here means we probably got something around here to look at. But yeah, in the end, it doesn't really matter why it was misbehaving. The point is it was misbehaving, and I'm glad we got it fixed up. I mean, I basically had to buy a whole new machine. Hello, Neil Fun Reaper. Okay, I'll pull these off. Okay, let's check up here. Okay, we've got corrosion on that cap, which isn't as big a problem. That's PP bus. Yeah. That's some gnarly mess there. Let's gently brush that away while I have the extractor on. And someone needs to move the power cable to enable the extractor to turn on. It's because I was doing drying of logic boards today. Alright, extractor on. Yep, that looks pretty typical. The nice thing is it doesn't look like it's gone too far. Check the other side as well. Okay, so we've got a combination of issues here. We probably may have issues with getting 20 volts reliably. We'll have to have a look at that as well. And fortunately in this instance, this logic board does not have the other side populated. So the other regulator would normally sit here. But since this is probably like a 128 or maybe 256 gig unit, that hasn't come into play, so that's good. It's like one less issue to look at. But certainly we need to clean up that stuff there. I'll still have the electric toothbrush. This is more like my dry brush. They're just knocking off trash that I see on the board. The electric toothbrush is for wet brushing when you want to, rinse things off. So yeah, this looks like it could be just the PP bus. Very nice if that is the case. Took a little while to get down there and it's not very low. Now that actually does cause me concern, because sometimes when the NANDs fail, they fail at around about 6 to 10 ohms. So we're going to take these caps off. Oh wait, no, I just realized I am going to take the caps off, but I just realized that's PP bus, this is NAND. And NAND is sitting at 520, which is a good value. Yeah, the XPD2, I prefer the XPD1, but the XPD2 is also perfectly good. The corrosion can be slightly, add a bit of resistance, but I was cutting right into the flesh of that solder. Alright. One of the big nuisances with lead-free solder is that you can't really visually see it do the transition to liquid form, depending on the alloy that they've used. And so you can often sit there heating up everything a little longer than you need to. Yeah, so now there's my concern. So we've removed the cap we thought was faulty, but we've still got the short issue. Okay, that's fine. We'll now take this one off. Less likely that's going to be problematic. If it's still got a problem, then we've got to take the V-reg off. And that is going to be a problem if it's the V-reg that's shorted. We can only hope that the NANDs are okay. Given that they're measuring 500 plus, I would say they are. That's the micro core. Just give ourselves another 10 minutes on this. Yep, still holding 7.2. Alright, so now we go to this side, and if you had to take a pick, you'd probably go for that one there. But the actual VREG and the NAND side is looking very nice, to be honest. So yeah, if I had to take a pick, I'm going to go for this one. I mean, to be fair, they've all got that little bit of corrosion on them, the first two that I've already taken, and then this one. So it's no great harm. Yeah, what the hell's that? Okay, that's just a bobbling up of the heat coming through. Realistically, I don't need to put this heat shield on, but I'm just doing it for, I don't know, is posterity the appropriate word? Anyway, I just want to be extra careful, because it is a data recovery situation first. And if this goes all clean, then that's fine. We can go back to being a full restore. There we go. Again, I was just holding on to that cap to give it a little bit of a force on it, so as soon as these pads became liquid, it would shift. Again, because of the fact that this solder does not really let you know visually too easily when it's actually ready to go. Capo Steve asks, question for you, open board view. I run on my MacBook and PC and it seems to be very different. The MacBook version seems to have a lot more features over the Windows. Really? You're not running FlexBoard view by accident, are you? Can you list a couple of the features you're talking about? And we're still at 7.2. Look, I'll be honest, I don't actually deal with the open board view anymore myself. Like I said, conflict of interest situation. I mean, I'm sort of there for some things, but I don't get involved in any of the releases or anything like that anymore. But yeah, if you can give me one or two features that you've noticed that are different, then I'd be kind of curious to know. Wow, 7.2 still. It's entirely possible that there is something else on this logic board that is shorted. We are going to take this VREG off anyway, even though it may actually be perfectly fine. No, it's not. Okay, welcome to the dangers of good-looking boards. It's not a massive thing to notice, but you can see there's bits of crud down in there. So we're going to remove all of these pads, well, the solder on them. We don't want to actually remove the pads, oh gee, that would be a nightmare. Accidentally removing all those pads, that would make a lot of people cry. Alright, let's try again. So basically we're going through a list of most probable causes of the short and working our way up. And again, we are still 7.3. Alright, the game has turned around in an interesting way. I'm just going to check the... Okay, that better be... Yeah, okay, that was ground. 350, 400 on a warm board for the NAND side is acceptable. If you want to get into using lead-free solder, get the SAC 305 alloy version. SAC 305 is probably the closest you're going to get in terms of the attributes you want that you're used to with leaded solder. It's not too expensive, and it's worth getting some SAC 305. I've actually got some of it myself. I'm just not sure where it is at the moment. The nice thing about lead-free solders is that it's easier to draw them in most cases into a finer diameter. So you can get very thin, like down to 12th hour, I think, is the one I've got. I wonder if one of these is on that bus. Alright, look, tell you what, I've got to go and give Micro his injection, and then I'll be back. I'll even turn off the fan. There you go. Okay, we're back. Okay, so we look to have a short in some other place. So I'm going to bring up the board view. And this will be a 1041 board, probably. 1814, I mean, yep, sure. I knew that. Okay, and around this area I'm looking at the corroded parts. So we've got this 1V8. Okay, so it won't be those. We've got this PVDC in. Yeah, could, yeah, maybe, not really, possibly. We will clear that up. So I guess what we'll do is clear this up, see if that changes anything. Yeah. Well, for a start with the board view software, Flexboard View has the integration to OpenBoard data. That's a good start. The visuals are quite a bit different. There's a lot more refinement with Flexboard View compared to OBV. 450. And you got to weigh out whether that's what matters to you or not. 7. Damn it, still 7. Alright, so it was unlikely. 7 ohms is a bit of a awkward value, to be honest. You try to put a volt into that, you're not going to get a tremendous amount of heat. I mean, you will get enough to pick up something. It kind of also feels like it could be something silicon that's gone crazy. So I'm really hoping I just find a cap that's gone a bit gnarly. Okay, this is a diode, and we've got some junk down here, and that kind of looks like something might have gone wrong there. Okay, we're in this area here. That's the diode ground. That's 20 volt though. Yes, Flexboard View works on open Mac, Windows, Linux, all of the. It's basically if you take OpenBoard View and then actually add features. This is actually a protection diode, a reverse polarity, reverse bias protection diode. Hey Tom and Trady. Same crap. Hey there, Paul Hell. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to chase. What should have started out, or what should have been a fairly direct sort of thing. It could be one of these speaker amps. They are notorious for getting junk under them to make them short. I might have to go for the dreaded power injection, as much as I loathe and detest having to resort to such primitive means of finding short circuits. I should be able to just sniff them out. But apparently I'm not good enough tonight. Ah well, I'm used to hearing that. Checking the P-mix, see if there's any bobbles or deformations. That looks good. Hopefully it's not the T2 sitting under here. Yeah, it's a little bit unsure. Oh, capacitive, sincerely, did you? You know what I hate is, for some reason, PayPal fails to notify me anymore of the transactions. It used to, and now it does not. Mr. TechFix. Alright, let me know if you have any dramas with that. By the way, there is a new significant version coming out, so you'll need to be prepared to pick that up. Okay. Well, it could also... Let's check 3v3. 7... Yeah, if you push the voltage up, you can. But I don't want to go too much above 1 volt. Okay, 9. Okay, it was definitely... Okay, it's wired up. Like I said, I'm really not a fan of doing this. Hey, Paul Baker. Yeah, we're going to have our nice, very short ground lead and moderately long positive lead. Yep, Elon did for a while at PayPal. I don't know what it is. There's a setting somewhere which sort of says notified me of transactions. And you set that, but then at some point it just sort of silently stops doing it. And you're like, well, I don't recall asking you to stop notifying me. And it's actually a little bit problematic at times because of the fact that if you're anticipating, if you react to certain things based on getting that notification, like say you have to do some sort of follow-up work after a transaction and you stop getting those notifications, and you don't get around to doing those follow-ups. Now, the other problem we're going to have is the fact that this bench is now warm, as is the board. So unless we have a particularly eager short, it's going to be a little bit hard to spot out of the noise. Okay, we're going to turn our voltage down. Okay, 1 volt and 1 amp. First thing we're going to do is see if it actually does anything, or what sort of figures we're looking at. Oh, it's one of those bullshit shorts. Oh yeah, that is weird. It is jumping all over the place. Do not like it when it jumps all over the place. You would think a static sort of short would be fairly consistent. It's currently all behind login now. What is that doing? I've never seen a short behave like this. If it's a cracked capacitor, then it's a very sensitive one. But that's some rather peculiar behavior, to be honest. Are we saying we've got a snowflake capacitor? That board warmth, the benchtop warmth, is actually going to make things more difficult than I want. So I'm going to put in a barrier. Let's see, schematics. The way it is jumping around is really weird. It is honestly behaving like a circuit is running or something. We'll try the other side. Sorry, just got caught on myself there. Weird, don't know what OBS was doing then. Okay, that little burst that we saw there, that I think was what we were looking for. Tony W, yeah, this is a Falcon BA air filter, interior filter. They're the filters that I use for my extraction fan. Where were you? It was somewhere along here, wasn't it? There was one of somewhere along here. I can't remember whether it was this section or I'm pretty sure it was this section. Yep, there it is. Holy crap, I would never have found that. And it's particularly weird in the fact that it's oscillating even though it's a direction injection. That is definitely going down on my list of bizarre things found. Now they're little capacitors, teeny tiny, they're basically capacitors that you normally don't give two craps about. It's this one here. Okay, so they're part of the GPU high side. That is 12 picofarad. It's a nothing capacitor. It's a little sneeze capacitor. But like I said, it's just extremely strange for the way it behaved. I mean, very, very strange. Yeah, it formed, I think because of the fact that it's a tiny, tiny capacitor in terms of capacitance, it may have formed some kind of natural oscillation. I don't know, it's weird, that's all I know. It's weird. Now let us hope that removing it fixes things. Hopefully I don't pop any of these caps. I've never had one of these sort of caps fail like that. want to lose it yet. Just going to see if that changed our continuity. Well, we definitely no longer have a short on that section, although admittingly I did not check it before I took it off. Farad. I'm not saying that actually fixed the fault. I'll just clean this up and then we'll go test the PP bus rail. Oh damn, that actually was it. No, I can't do anything about the buffering, folks. Got nothing to do with me. Everything's good on this side. Alright, so now I have to rebuild all this circuitry. I mean, as it is, I had to do this anyway. Because those caps are already, you know, they had the start of their corrosion going. I don't want to use flux. The more flux I use, the more likely I have to ultrasonic clean this thing. It's Liberal Broadband and Tony Abbott. Pedro, except it was not really a cap that you would expect to have that. It was definitely not standard. Because remember, you see, the heartbeat fault indications is when you plug in something like the power, when you've got the USB-C in, or you've got the MagSafe plugged in, and the circuitry is trying to start up, but it detects a short and then it shuts down. This was not that. This was just a direct injection. So with a direct injection, you don't normally get a heartbeat, because to get a heartbeat, you have to have something that creates an oscillator. So I think what was happening is that there was a short in that little cap, but as soon as it did get heat, because of its tiny size, it would break the short, and so it would cool down again until the shorting layers reconnected, and then it got hot again. So that's what was probably happening. Let's see, TPS 62180. Might do the caps first, actually. Okay, 1025 603s. need to get my little shield block again. What chemicals would you use in an ultrasonic tank to clean the board without damaging it? There are specially formulated solutions that you can buy for that. You can make your own, or you could conjure up something, but honestly, you just pay the price and get pre-made, and then at least then you know you shouldn't too easily mess it up. The main things you want, of course, are that it's going to lift flux, and then you also want to make sure it's a non-foaming solution, because there are plenty of solutions you can buy that will clean flux off a board, but if you put them into an ultrasonic tank, they will froth up and just foam everywhere and basically are useless. Alright. Pin 1 on that is going to be... Pin 1 is up here. Very easy to get these backwards on this board, because when you look at the board view and the schematic, there is a difference, but it's easy enough to not see it. The biggest dead giveaway, if you've got the wrong side, is that the other side only has 2 of these little caps here, whereas this side has the 4. But other than that, it's they look pretty similar. Not really advisable to use isopropanol, because you're going to be heating up the solution typically, and at 50 Celsius, isopropanol is probably going to, if it's not going to evaporate off so quickly, it's certainly going to potentially create an ideal air-fuel mixture to blow your room open. That is not going as nicely as I want. I'm just going to have to hit that again. I'm worried about dry joints now. We're going to do this side as well. Again, these are just the same big caps that we used on the other side. Just trimming off the excess. Realistically, like I said, you don't have to be this pedantic about putting some kind of thermal management there while you're reflowing it. To be honest, the biggest thing I'm trying to prevent is uglification of that black cloth metal layer here, because if you don't protect it, it just bobbles up and peels away a little bit. Looks a bit unsightly. It's certainly not required. It's certainly not there to protect the NANDs. The NANDs are pretty hard to get to reflow in that sort of short amount of time. Mind you, if you do manage to get into reflow, then that's not a good thing. Try not to do that. Reflowing the NANDs when you don't want them reflowed is a big no-no. Ach, niemand. Right, so we just check this. It'll probably be around about the 300 to 400 mark now. Yeah, so that's good. And this should be similar. Yep, that's good. Oh yeah, tradie, that'd be a top idea. Use some asbestos sheet. Yeah, no worries, mate. Don't mind the fact that I'm going to get myself some pretty ugly lung diseases afterwards, I really don't want to have to ultrasonic clean this board, but there's enough of these little dregs around that it's starting to worry me. Not to mention we've got to fix up this little crap pest as well. Again, not super important, but it's a case of if you don't fix it now, it's going to come back and you're going to have to fix it then. And yeah, there's enough surface corrosion, I'm going to be forced to have to ultrasonic this. Damn it. Let's see. Oh, capo Steve. Oh, that's good. Now, listen, when you're storing your files, try to put each board into its own folder. If you look at open board data, you can see the way it's done there. Alright, so those two we need to replace, these three we need to replace. Once I'm done with this, Kappa Steve, I will be available on email as well if you want to send through any questions. I did used to have a support forum for Flexboard View, but realistically I sort of found it was just easy enough to do direct mail queries. Like, this is how I organise mine, Steve. Kappa Steve. Oh, bloody bugs in my face. So like I have my Apple folder, and then all the boards are in their own separate folder. So if I go to something like 165, that shouldn't be there, that needs to be removed anyway. And the BRD file name should be the same as the PDF file name. And then if you do that, Flexboard View will load both of them up automatically. And also, if you've got the open board data set up, then you should get things like your diode mode and your part values showing up, providing the board has actually got that sort of information already loaded, as in if someone's already put it in. And it's just a community project, so it takes time. Anyway, we've got to go back to our 1814, and I want to have a look at these two caps here. So let's see, that's a 1 microfarad 6.3. Oops. And that other one's also a 1 microfarad 6.3. Okay. Oh, someone pressing the wrong button there. Okay, so these two, 1 microfarad, 6.3 volts, 201 size. Hey there, Bytefix. Let's see, 201 capos. I don't know if I got 6.3 volt ones, but I'll probably have 10 or 16 volt. Oh no, there we go. Very first bag on my very first bag out of the box. That's the right ones. And because I am a optimistic idiot, I put both of them down at the same time. Okay. To help my optimism, I'm going to only run this at 360 Celsius. You see, I got the shakes a bit today, so I didn't get much sleep last night. When you don't get enough sleep, or when I don't get enough sleep, I tend to get a little shaky the next day. Beautiful. But I actually missed the fun part, which was finding the short. We had a nice, interesting short. I'm going to remove these. Again, they're just little fly fart capacitors, but the opportunity is here to replace them, and I think we will. Yeah, I actually remember the shakes from day after from drinking type things. Very glad I don't do that to myself anymore. Ow, ow, ow. What the hell? Sorry, something was biting me on the chest. Come on. Sleep, stress, no sleep, essentially, yeah, exactly, yeah. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? So you stay up all night watching how you can sleep better. Oh yeah, nice, yeah, big fat shorts there. Anything interesting happening in your world, Trady? Just trying to clear away the junk. Yeah, that looks good. Right. Let's see. I'm trying to think whether I've got a donor that I can just nab those from. I probably don't. It's a fairly common sort of area for me to have to nab parts from. Oh, wow, amazing. Shock. I gotta admit, I was not expecting that. Look at that. All 3 parts there, in spite of the fact that I've taken the MOSFET, the CD3215, the inductor. Yeah, it took a bunch of crap. In fact, it's even got the 2 1 microfarads there. It's like the complete opposite of what I was just dealing with. Kind of funny. Kind of. Okay, I'm going to cheat here, use the 470. This is the donor. Now the nice thing is it doesn't actually matter, at least I'm pretty sure, with these caps as to which way they end up going on the board. That is to say, who's on top, who's in the middle, and who's on bottom. So the sandwich ingredients don't care. We'll come back to it in a second. We're just waiting for it to set. There we go. Let's see, Trade have another DIY. They realised they couldn't complete the project they desired without the pro help. What'd they try wiring up themselves this time? Anything that nearly killed you? It's never a story unless you nearly die. Yeah, Pedro, they're all on the same line. There's a number of other gnarly looking things around here, but I think we're at the point where we can give this a shot. Now, since we are dealing with some pretty critical stuff, we are going to double check our work. Now, the first thing that we've got to look at is pin 1 here is up top right, and we want to verify that. Make sure we get the correct board orientation. So we've got the CPU showing up here. So this is, we've got the 4 caps, and pin 1 is indeed top right. So it's good. And then we want to verify our resistances. For some reason I've only got the diode mode there. I really need to put in the resistance. Just let it go up, go up, go up, go up until it sort of levels off. If it levels off. Alright, that's not leveling off. Alright, that's fine. And likewise with this one. Alright, we've got 70 ohms there. That's with the reverse polarity. We'll try ground to positive here. 70 ohms again. I don't like that value. Okay, it looks like it's increasing slowly. We'll do a diode mode. Sometimes when you do a diode mode, it injects a little bit more power than what the resistance mode does. And so you get a quicker value. Okay, 0.8, that's not going anywhere. There we go. 0.07, 0.08. This is we really need 0.37, yeah, 0.3. But it doesn't seem to be going there. Okay, we'll just short out that rail. Let's see, where are my tweezers for shorting out rails? Because you remember when we checked it before, it was a decent value, and now it's not. And I remember when we did a recent board that we had the same thing. There we go, see it's 0.12 and slowly rising, so in my opinion that's fine. Okay. See if we get a 20 volts. Okay, we got 20 volts. I actually scared the crap out of myself. As I plugged this in, a little bug landed over here, and it's a similar color to this stuff over here, and it started moving around. And I thought it was something burning up, but it wasn't. It was just a damn bug. But with my vision not being so good, because I haven't got my glasses with me, I kind of had a bit of a heart stop. I thought, oh God, we've ruined it. And it's all on live. Well, we don't say winner winner until we've actually got a display. We don't cheap out with our prize giving here. Not like some people who used to just see a fan spin and decide that, yeah, it's fixed. It's like, that was really just, yeah, that was cheap, easy. Anyone can make a fan spin. I'm only being, internationally competitive. I know the person that is a fan spin declarer. I know they know that there's more to it than just spinning the fan. It doesn't stop me from capitalizing on what I can. I don't know why the bugs are all around. It's like there's a hole in my walls somewhere. I mean, there's plenty of holes in this wall, but it's like something particularly large. Oh, how did that happen? Okay. I kind of don't want to put more parts into this zippy bag, but I'm gonna have to. Because it's very unusual to have that tiny little fly fart cap to do that sort of thing, but yeah. And without a thermal camera, you would never have tracked that thing down. And as it was, even with a thermal camera, it was tricky. So fingers crossed this works out, otherwise, yeah, I'm going to be a bit sad. Hopefully nothing's happened to the GPU and things like that either. Yeah, you see these bugs? They're just... He's gone already. He's like, I'm not sticking around to be accused. Oh, where's my... where is my privacy guard here? Yes, I do. By the way, one thing I really hate is wastage of product packaging and stuff like that. So with phone repairs, I'm getting these nice metal cases, but it's like, why the hell are you sending them in these fancy cases? I mean, geez, what is this? Is a $60, $70 screen, and you're sending it in this fancy metal case, and I got to toss it. There's nothing I can really do with it. So if anyone knows ingenious ideas to do with a whole bunch of these metal cases, let me know. Kind of curious. Let me know in the comments too. Alright, let's get to the main show of the day. Okay, we've got our 20 volts has come up. Oh, hey sweetie. Okay, come up. 1.2. Yeah, depending on the state of the battery, this could take a while. There we go, Apple logo. Oh, lucky I'll just put that across. 0% on the battery. We've got a fan spin. Now we just want to see if that battery charges as well. 2 amps, we're definitely charging. Make cat toys out of them. Receipt tins, yeah, I got a big box for that sort of thing. It just irks me that all of those resources, to make the metal, to do the paint, the foam inside, all that sort of stuff, it's wasted. I suppose the metal I can take down to the recycling depot, but it still just feels wasteful. Melt them down in methyl borax. Right, now I've got to become a blacksmith. If I ever do blacksmithing, yell at me if I get suckered into the Damascus crowd. I mean, Damascus is interesting, it's cool, but it's kind of overdone. See, Gecko thought so too. Adds $10. Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose it's probably like $1 for them, but yeah. I just haven't found a use for the tins. I've got all my, cases like this sort of thing for everything else, and nothing's really sort of like sprung to mind as to what I can use the metal tins for. Talk about useless. I got an Apple card so I can get interest-free financing for a year. The damn thing is titanium. Yeah, it's like cool status, I guess. Yeah. Hey, 10-minute tech. We're just about finished. See, Trevor. Keep failed electronic fluoro cases for Internet of Things projects. Electronic fluoro. Are you talking about the little starter things, or what are the electronic fluoro cases? Capo Steve, the on-screen meter things, there's something I've written myself. Every time I get myself a new multimeter or a new power supply, something like that, I write the software that will do that. You can get the software from my GitHub page. It's free, but it gives you the template sort of structure, and if you know programming, it's easy enough to adapt. A lot of the power supplies and meters now use fairly common protocols. Like if you can find the ones that use SCPI commands, then it's easy to adapt. Yeah, it's sucking up pretty much every bit of power it can. It's pretty good going, because it is, it's down at 0% battery, so I want to see it tick over to 1 or 2 before I consider this done. Oh, the ballast, okay. And yeah, the plastic thing drives me insane. I gotta look at there's just so many things that are in plastic that don't really need to be. I think we definitely have to have a serious look at our consumption of plastic, particularly for like single-use items like bags containing food and that sort of stuff, where you bring it home, you unwrap it, and then it goes in the rubbish, because rarely does that get recycled. Cut the tins and use them as roofing shingles. Well, that's ingenious, Sonia, I'll give you that much. We still haven't hit 1% yet. I don't know if it's going to... Trackpad works, thank God for that. that first percent on the battery always takes a while. Seaweed, yeah, seaweed, tapioca, any of those sort of like long chain starches, they can join them together a little bit more and you get a nice sort of single-use biodegradable plastic. Yeah, certainly the options are there, but I think the reason why we still use petrochemical plastics is because of the indefinite shelf life, whereas even if, say, you opt for a 2-year life tapioca starch plastic, then those products could end up being in storage for that period of time, and then when you get towards like within, I'd say within 6 months of the breakdown period, they're going to have to toss it all out. So that's probably why it's not favourable. Maybe if here we go, we're at 1%, so we're good. Maybe if we sort of like get to the point where we've got 1 year, 5-year or 10-year life starches, then it might work out. The other problem, of course, is that a lot of the contents that you would put in those plastics would have a tendency to break down those starches. Seldom is 5G radiation blocking for fans. I'll offer them to people to stick on the back of their iPhones. Yeah. Okay, Moretto, back to your C# world. Take care. I've got to go back to my C world soon. Petrochemical plastics get wrecked all the time from cooking oil with the gig you do. Cooking oil, you do biodiesel, do you? Anyway, and we're up to 2% now, so yeah, the first percent is always the one that takes the longest. So we got a win here, thank goodness for that. That was definitely, I'll have to mark this down as the most obscure component short that I've had to date. And thank goodness we did have the infrared camera, and thank goodness I was patient enough to try and look around the board long enough to actually see that pulse, because that's what I was looking for, is just the pulse that was in synchronization with the power supply. Anyway, time for me to head off. Thank you all for watching, and I may see you tomorrow. It'll be Friday tomorrow. And in the meantime, I will hope you have yourselves a good day, and if you've got any repairs, hope they get a little more direct and easy than what this one did. So until then, I'll catch you later. You'll take care. I'll see you next time.